Today I want to talk about the importance of identity in goal setting. And I want to tell you kind of a personal story about how I started running. I never used to exercise consistently. I only started to become a consistent exerciser when I was 37. I'm almost 43 now. If you told me, even when I was 35, that I would be a runner, I just wouldn't believe it. I was so much not an exerciser for most of my life. Now, throughout my life, I would sometimes try to exercise a little bit because I kind of hated my body. I hated the way that I looked. I felt like I wasn't healthy. I didn't have a lot of energy or vitality. And the motivation for wanting to exercise was kind of like self-hatred, like to change my body. That was the only goal that I was focusing on. I was only focusing on transforming my body. And I was never able to stick with it consistently. But around the time I was turning 37, it was in the new year, something kind of shifted in the way that I thought about the goal. Instead of thinking that I wanted to transform my body in a certain way, lose a certain amount of pounds, or fit into a certain pant size, I totally shifted my goal and decided that I wanted to become an exerciser. I wanted to become a jock. I wanted to become someone who loves exercise. I wanted to become someone who exercises so regularly that they can't live without it. So that was the shift. It wasn't about changing my diet and my exercise routine because of some kind of dysfunctional self-hatred. It was more positive. It was shifting my identity to become an exerciser. And then the goal shifted, and it wasn't about the outcome. It wasn't about how much weight I would lose. And it wasn't about athletic performance. It was only about consistency. That was my only concern. I just wanted to exercise regularly. Whether the outcome was really effective or not, I didn't care. My only focus was consistency. And I became an exerciser. I never thought this would happen to me, but that was the key, shifting my identity. So think about this. If you've smoked for 30 years or whatever, and you would like to quit, and you're trying to quit, and somebody offers you a cigarette, and you say, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." Now that sounds a certain way, but now listen to this. What if instead of saying, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit," you said, "No thank you, I'm not a smoker"? See, there the emphasis is on the identity. You are not a smoker. That's really powerful. Just the way that you think of that in your head, and the way that you speak to others, and the way that you present yourself. And at first, when I started running, it was hard for me to think of myself as a runner. I mean, those first few weeks when I was running, I felt like a manatee trying to run. If you can imagine what it would feel like to be a manatee trying to learn how to run, that's how I felt. It didn't feel natural. So it was hard for me to think of myself as a runner. But still, I was striving for that identity of becoming someone who exercises consistently. That was my only goal. And then after a while, the excitement wasn't really about how much weight I was losing or how much my pants were fitting me better. It was more about the amazing things that my body could do. It was just incredible to go from not being able to run continuously for very long to, after several weeks, being able to run continuously for 30 minutes and being able to run 3 miles in 30 minutes. And then the improvements and the personal records just kept coming and coming over the next few years. And it didn't take very long for me to start to feel comfortable with it and say, I'm a runner. People ask me what I like to do in my free time, I would say, I'm a runner. And I could say that, and it was true, and it felt true. And now when I think about this story, and when I talk to people about exercise, I can get a little fanatical about it. It makes me feel really excited because I hear so many people saying that they don't have time to exercise or it's too uncomfortable. They don't have enough energy. But what I really want people to know is that being fit and healthy is literally easier than not being. It's just more efficient. And you think that exercise takes a lot of energy and it's going to take energy away from you. But the truth is, when you exercise regularly in a moderate way, not overdoing it, that exercise actually gives you more energy. It really does. When you exercise, it's kind of like there's a battery inside of you that's recharging as you exercise. It gives you more energy. When you exercise regularly, it takes time, right? You might exercise for 30 or 50 or 90 minutes 4 or 5 times a week, and that takes time. Those are minutes that you're spending exercising that you're not doing other things. But the trick is that exercise actually makes you more efficient. When you exercise regularly, it makes you more focused and more productive. You actually get more done in your life even if you're spending 50 minutes or so exercising. It really is true, and I think people have a hard time believing this. But once you try it out for yourself and you find yourself on the other side, you'll find that that really is true. So whatever your goal is, think about how it relates to your identity and how can you use that identity in your self-talk and how you're talking to other people to get a little leverage on your goal.